Hello Substreamers and welcome back to Substream News. As you might have noticed from the board behind me, this is video 50. That's long form video 50. Welcome, it's been an incredible journey and I'm so happy to have you here. Now I just have one question for you. What time is it? I mean, what time is it on Earth? And I ask this because the moon is about to get its own time zone, and so we might have to start specifying. Yes, NASA has confirmed that thanks to a White House directive, they now have to develop a time zone for the moon. It will be called Coordinated Lunar Time with the ticker LTC, and they have until 2026 to do it. My question is, why and what time has it been running on previously? Well, until now it's actually been running on China time, Central China time, but the moon needs a time zone because time on the moon doesn't move the same as time on Earth. That's thanks to Einstein's theory of relativity, or is described by that theory, because of speed and gravity. And so basically the time on the moon loses about 56 microseconds per year. That small difference can make a huge difference when it comes to the precision needed to enact space landings and exploration and stuff like that. So yeah, it's quite a necessary implementation, and you would think that everyone would be on board. But of all of the countries that have space programs, not all of them plan to implement it, especially China and Russia, who have said they're not interested. But there will be 43 countries who integrate lunar time into their space programs. Let's move on. Okay, good news from Japan and the Fukushima nuclear power plant, as it was reported recently that they're preparing to send in a team of robots to start extracting debris and testing it for radioactivity. Now, if you're not quite sure about Fukushima, a tsunami hit Japan was about 13 years ago, and it hit a nuclear power plant, and it was radioactive, some radiation spilled. It's very dangerous, huge environmental disaster. And people have not really been able to go there because it's dangerous to their lives. Now, this story is going to take decades to unravel because there are about 880 tons of radioactive material inside that power plant. That's an extraordinary large amount. That's really hard to even visualize. So Japan's government, they believe it will take tens of years to decommission the entire plant and make it safe once again. So all I can say really is good luck to Japan on this massive undertaking, and I hope they manage to do it because it was such a shame for their country. Good luck. Let's move on. Actually, sticking on the theme of, let's say, accidentally poisoning the environment, 12 of the 36 biggest brands of cinnamon have been added to the do not eat list by Consumer Rights. And that's after they all tested, or these 12 brands tested for dangerously high levels of lead. Now you'd think anything above 0 is dangerously high, but there is actually an acceptable limit, and a third of cinnamon brands have crossed it. I'm going to give you that list so that you can actually go to your kitchen and find your cinnamon and check that it's not one of these. Actually, you don't really want to be eating lead. So the companies are Para Cinnamon Powder, EGN Cinnamon Powder, Mimi's Product Ground Cinnamon, Bowl & Basket Ground Cinnamon, Zara Foods Cinnamon Provider, Three Rivers Cinnamon Stick Powder, Yu Yi Brand 5 Spice Powder, Bai Li Feng 5 Spice Powder, Spicy King 5 Spices Powder, Badia Cinnamon Powder, Rani brand, and Deep Cinnamon Powder. Now, some of them were also Chinese spice blends, not just pure cinnamon. So do go and check. Is this dangerous to your health? Yes. This whole investigation came because 500 children in New Jersey were poisoned, received lead poisoning from cinnamon used in apple puree pouches. Wow. So there's expected to be a lot of products recalled after this new information. So if there's a shortage of cinnamon on the shelves in your local supermarket, now you know why. And if you find information like this useful, remember to subscribe to Substream News. Just scroll on down and click on the button and like this video. Tell your friends, why not? And if you want to know more about any of our stories, we always share our sources. They are there in the video description. Let's move on to the next story. And the next story continues on the theme of poisoning the environment. And it's a kind of a strange one, but a huge survey was undertaken by Copenhagen Business School, the University of Basel, and the University of Cambridge. And it turns out that the carbon footprint of rich people is being vastly underestimated, both by rich people and by poor people. Yes, the rich don't think that they pollute very much, and the poor also don't think that the rich pollute very much. Both are wrong, according to this study. Okay, so participants in this study were asked to estimate the carbon footprints of people in the top 50%, economically speaking, the top 10%, and the top 1% of income within their country. And most participants estimated that the average personal carbon footprint for the bottom 50% of income, they overestimated that, whereas they underestimated the top 10% and top 1%. Now, that's very interesting. So basically, the rich are using resources far more extravagantly than the poor. And that's quite obvious, but the extent or the scale of it is clearly hard to fathom for most people. I think what we can all take away from this video is that we could probably do with less. And I say that as a technology addict who has too many devices. I think I might need to cut down my carbon footprint too. Let's move on to the next story. Okay, on a lighter and much more positive note, scientists have created a new device about the size of a paperclip that can massively prevent or stop heart failure. Now, I love this story. I think this is brilliant. It's called Cardio MEMS. It's a wireless sensor implanted in the pulmonary artery to detect fluid buildup weeks before symptoms occur. So it's a preventative technology for people who are at high risk of heart conditions. So basically, when the heart is unable to pump enough blood to meet the fluid's needs, fluid builds up in the surrounding tissue. So they're able to implant a sensor that tells them about that, and then they can do something about it before it turns into, let's say, a heart attack. So there are millions of people around the world who suffer from congestive heart failure, and this early warning system can reduce hospital visits, hospitalizations, and deliver improved quality of life. Now, people are already using this implant. It's been tested and implanted on 35,000 people over the last decade, and they've been following their journeys trying to learn about their heart complications, and they're very, very happy with the results. Now, it says that in the US alone, there are 6.5 million people with heart failure conditions and 3 to 4 million people who are at high risk, but coverage from insurance is not universal. So implants like these can help these people to avoid needing to be hospitalized or get medication or, see their doctor, which saves them a lot of money and financial burdens, which, can only escalate their health problems. So this is a great preventative technology, and I'm really happy to see it. Oh, guys, now that's it for this week. I want to say, again, this is video 50. We are halfway to 100. We started early this year, and I think it's just incredible that we're so far in already. Thank you so much for all your views, your comments, your engagement. We're so happy to have you here. We're trying to grow because we want to reach a wider audience with these news, with these interesting articles and research and updates. Now, if you agree that this content's valuable and you've enjoyed our videos and you're not yet subscribed, it only takes a second and it means a lot to us. Please do. On that note, I'm Joseph, your presenter. This is Substream News, reporting from my home office, and I'll see you in the next video. See you there. Thanks.